Hello, my name is Brent. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Christian church and kind of the origin of the church, and just kind of give you an overview understanding of where the church comes from. Now, we all know that the church started after the resurrection, after the apostles preached the gospel, and people believed and people were baptized. The day of Pentecost, we all know that part, because we read it in Acts. But what a lot of people, don't really know is in Daniel, in chapter 2, there's this prophecy about the Christian church and the origin of the Christian church. And I'll read it for you here. It's Daniel 2, starts in verse 34. It says, "While you were watching, a rock was cut out, but not by human hands. It struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay and smashed them. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were broken to pieces at the same time and became like chaff on a threshing floor in the summer. The wind swept them away without leaving a trace, but the rock that struck the statue became a huge mountain and filled the whole earth." Now the angel goes on to explain this vision of the rock later here in verse 34. This is what he says. He says, "In the time of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people. It will crush all those kingdoms and bring them to an end, but it will itself endure forever. This is the meaning of the vision of the rock cut out of a mountain, but not by human hands, a rock that broke the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold to pieces." So we have this statue. There's all these different layers to this statue. That's what the gold, the silver, the bronze, and the iron, that's what they all represent, is different layers. And then we have this mountain, and we have a rock cut out of a mountain, and then the rock strikes the statue on the feet, then the statue comes crumbling down. Now, each one of these layers represents an ancient kingdom. It starts with Babylon, which is the head, and then you have the Persian Empire, which is the silver, and then you have Alexander the Great and the Greeks, which is the bronze, and then you have the legs and the feet of iron and baked clay, which represents the Roman Empire. The legs represent the early Roman Empire, and then the feet of the iron and baked clay represent the divided Roman Empire, because it's both strong and weak and brittle. And then this mountain that the rock is cut out of represents Israel. See, these mountains are separate. They're kind of different than these other ancient kingdoms, because these mountains, these kingdoms, have something to do with God. That Israel is set apart from all the other kingdoms. And so you have this mountain that represents Israel, and then you have this rock cut out of the mountain. Now that's the Christian church. See, the angel says, "In the time of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people." That's the Christian church. It's an eternal kingdom. And God established that kingdom with Jews. He took a group of Israelites and separated them from Israel to establish the Christian church. That's all the apostles, all of the earliest disciples of Christ were all Jews. I mean, Jesus himself was a Jew. And so, this prophecy, it gives us a really good understanding of, how the church started, what God's plan is as far as the church is concerned. And he started the church as, sort of an offspring of Israel, as cut out of Israel. And then it says, the prophecy says that the rock hits the statue, brings the statue down, it hits the statue on the feet. Now that's the Roman Empire. That's the divided Roman Empire. And that's when, the Christian church, essentially took over the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire toppled, but the Christian church was still left. The rock, it grew into a mountain, and eventually that mountain will fill the earth. The Christian church will one day fill the earth. And so, by looking at this Old Testament prophet, we get a much better understanding of what the Christian church is, how the Christian church began, and how the Christian church is going to end up. Because one day it will fill the earth. And that goes along with what Jesus said in Matthew 24, when he says that the gospel will be preached in every corner of the earth before the end.